What if the cage you're living in isn't made of iron bars, but of thoughts? And what if the key to your escape isn't a more complex thought, but the deafening roar of action? You know the feeling. It's that invisible hum in the back of your mind, the constant companion that calls itself preparation, but feels a lot more like paralysis. It's the second, third, and 10th draft of an email that you never send. It's the business idea you've mapped out in 100 notebooks but never launched. It's the conversation you replay in your head, tweaking your lines for a performance that will never happen. You are a brilliant architect of worlds that will never be built, a master strategist for battles that will never be fought. Your mind is a magnificent engine, polished and powerful, but it's running in neutral. And the sound of that engine, spinning at thousands of RPMs but going nowhere, is the soundtrack to your frustration. It's the quiet agony of potential unrealized. You've been told you're smart, you're analytical, you see all the angles. But what they don't tell you is that seeing every angle can be a curse. It turns a straight path into an infinite maze. Every choice branches into 1,000 possibilities, and each possibility has its own set of risks, its own potential for failure, its own chorus of what-ifs. So you stand at the crossroads, frozen, not by ignorance but by an excess of intelligence. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you know too much asterisk. You've analyzed the joy out of life, strategized the spontaneity out of your spirit, and reviewed the courage out of your heart. Your own mind, the very tool meant to navigate the world, has become the prison that holds you captive. You feel it, don't you? That slow, creeping exhaustion. It's not the exhaustion of a body that has worked hard, but the exhaustion of a soul that has been running a marathon in a closet. But what if I told you there's a way out? Not a gentle path of mindfulness or a soft suggestion to just think positive. No, this is different. This is a jailbreak. I am promising you a 7-day vow, a period of brutal, uncompromising action designed to shatter the intricate prison of your own mind. This isn't about learning to manage your overthinking. This is about executing it. It's about a radical transformation so profound that in 1 week, the person you are now, the hesitant, analyzing, perpetually stuck overthinker, will become a distant memory. This is your escape plan, a vow to replace the noise of thought with the thunder of doing. This is how you stop thinking your life and start living it. This is how you become unrecognizable, not to others, but to the very part of yourself that has been holding you back. Here is the first and perhaps most vital truth you need to grasp before we begin. Overthinking is not a thinking problem. It's a fear problem. You are not addicted to analysis. You are addicted to the feeling of control that analysis seems asterisk to provide. Thinking feels safe. It feels like you're doing something productive without ever having to risk failure, rejection, or the messy, unpredictable reality of the real world. Every scenario you run, every contingency you plan for, is a little fortress you build against the unknown. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control the unpredictable, the more you surrender control of the one thing you actually have power over, your own actions in the present moment. The cage isn't the world's uncertainty. The cage is your demand for certainty. And the only way to break that demand is to starve it, to act in the face of uncertainty, to move before the map is complete. Your escape begins not by finding a better thought, but by taking a single, terrifying, liberating step without one. This vow is a declaration of war on that fear. It's a 7-day campaign, a spiritual blitzkrieg against the part of you that prefers the safety of the map to the thrill of the territory. Each day has a single, non-negotiable law, a vow you will make to yourself. It will be uncomfortable. It will feel wrong. It will go against every instinct your overthinking mind has cultivated. But it will work. It is the axe laid to the root of the tree. By the end of this week, you will not have a new set of thoughts. You will have a new identity. Let's begin with day one, the vow of silence. This isn't a vow of not speaking to others. It is a vow of internal silence. For 24 hours, you will consciously and deliberately silence two specific voices, the voice of the inner critic and the voice that seeks external validation. You will become a neutral observer of your own life. Today, you are a scientist, not a judge. Your only job is to notice, not to label. When you wake up, you will not begin the usual torrent of self-assessment. You won't think about how tired you look or what you should have done yesterday or the mountain of tasks ahead. You will simply notice. Notice the light coming through the window. Notice the feeling of the sheets. Notice the sound of your own breathing. That's it. No commentary, no judgment. Throughout the day, every time that familiar voice of the inner critic pipes up, you will not fight it. You will not argue with it. You will simply say, noted, and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. It says you're going to be late. You respond internally, noted. It says that was a stupid thing to say. You respond, noted. It says you're not good enough for this. You respond, noted. You are giving the critic a clipboard and a pen, but you are revoking its authority. It can take its notes, but it no longer sits on the judge's bench. This act of dispassionate observation defangs it. The critic thrives on engagement. It wants an argument. It feeds on your emotional reaction. By refusing to engage, you starve it of its power. You are not suppressing the thought, you are defanging it. You are observing it as a neurological event, not as a statement of truth. The second part of this vow is to silence the call for external validation. For one day, you will not ask for anyone's opinion on your work, your choices, or your appearance. You will not post on social media and then compulsively check for likes. You will not send a text and anxiously await a reply. You are severing the puppet strings. Overthinking is often a rehearsal for an audience. You are trying to craft the perfect performance to win their approval. Today, there is no audience. There is only you and your actions. You will make a decision, what to eat, what to wear, what task to start, and you will simply make it. You will not poll your friends. You will not search for online reviews to confirm your choice was the right one. You are reclaiming your own sense of authority. This first day is foundational. It's about creating a clean slate. You are clearing out the noise so you can hear a different signal, the signal of your own unadulterated intention. It will feel strange. The silence might feel deafening at first. You will realize how much of your mental energy is consumed by self-flagellation and approval-seeking. You will feel a void. This void is crucial. It is the space where authentic action can finally be born. You are not killing your thoughts. You are creating a space between you and your thoughts. In that space lies your freedom. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, wrote about this constantly. He reminded himself to strip things down to their bare reality, to see events without the layer of judgment or opinion we add to them. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Day one is your practice in this. You are seeing your own mind from a new perspective. You are realizing that the voice in your head is just that, a voice. It is not you. This is the first crack in the wall of your prison. You are no longer fused with the architecture of your own anxiety. You are beginning to see it for what it is, a construct. And what can be constructed can be deconstructed. Now we move to day two, the vow of physicality. Yesterday you created a mental void. Today you will fill that void not with more thoughts but with the raw, undeniable truth of the body. Overthinking is a disease of the disembodied. It's what happens when you live entirely from the neck up. The mind, untethered from physical reality, can spin itself into infinite hypothetical knots. The body, however, cannot. The body lives in the present moment. It feels heat. It feels cold. It feels strain. It feels impact. It knows only what is right now. Today, your mind will become the servant of your body, not the other way around. Your vow for day two is this. You must engage in at least one act of intense, non-negotiable physical exertion. I'm not talking about a gentle stroll. I'm talking about something that demands your full attention, something that pushes you to a point where thinking is a luxury you cannot afford. This could be a high-intensity workout until you are gasping for air. It could be holding a plank until your muscles scream. It could be sprinting up a hill. It could be a brutally cold shower. The specific activity matters less than the intention behind it. The goal is to create a sensation so powerful that it crowds out the noise of your mind. When you are in the middle of a gut-wrenching sprint, you are not thinking about that email you need to send. You are thinking about your lungs. You are thinking about your next step. When you are under the shock of ice-cold water, your mind is not replaying a past mistake. It is consumed by the overwhelming, all-encompassing sensation of the cold. This is a forced mindfulness, a biological override. You are using the ancient, primitive wiring of your body to hijack the overactive modern mind. You are reminding yourself that you are not just a brain in a vat. You are an animal, an organism designed to move, to strive, to feel. Beyond the single intense act, the rest of your day should be punctuated by a renewed awareness of your physical self. Get out of your chair, stretch, do push-ups, walk barefoot on grass, feel the texture of the world around you. Ground yourself in physical reality. Overthinking thrives in the abstract. It dissolves in the concrete. When you are thinking about whether you should start a business, your mind can create 1,000 reasons why it will fail. But when you are physically building a prototype, or setting up a website, or even just clearing a space on your desk to work, the problem becomes real. It becomes tangible. You are no longer wrestling with ghosts of possibility. You are working with wood and code and physical space. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was a former slave. His body had endured immense hardship. He understood the connection between physical resilience and mental fortitude. He taught that we should treat our bodies with the same care as a soldier treats his weapons, not for vanity, but for function. Your body is the vessel through which you act in the world. A weak, neglected body houses a scattered, undisciplined mind. A strong, engaged body anchors the mind in the here and now. Day 2 is about reclaiming this vessel. It's about discovering that you have a powerful antidote to mental chaos already built in. You just have to use it. You have to be willing to push yourself, to feel the strain, to embrace the temporary pain that leads to lasting clarity. You are not punishing your body. You are liberating your mind by reminding it of its proper place. It is a brilliant co-pilot, but it is a terrible master. Today, the body is in charge. And in its simple, profound wisdom, it will teach you the power of just doing, the power of now. By the end of day 2, something will have shifted. The frantic energy of your mind will be replaced by a different kind of energy, a grounded, physical vitality. The exhaustion of overthinking will be replaced by the clean fatigue of physical effort. You've now created a mental space, and you've anchored yourself in physical reality. The foundations for your escape are being laid, but the most insidious enemy is yet to be confronted. And that brings us to day 3. Welcome to day 3, the vow of imperfection. This may be the most difficult day of all, because today you will go to war with your greatest and most respected God, the God of perfection. Perfectionism is the fuel of the overthinker. It's the noble-sounding excuse for inaction. I can't start yet, it's not ready. I can't show this to anyone, it's not perfect. I need to do more research, I need to plan more, I need to get it just right. It is a gilded cage, beautiful on the outside, but a prison all the same. Perfectionism is not about high standards. It is about fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being seen as anything less than flawless. It is the ultimate defense mechanism of the ego. Your vow for day 3 is this. You must deliberately do things imperfectly. You must ship before you are ready. You will take one project, one task, one communication that you have been endlessly polishing, and you will put it out into the world in its current, flawed, not quite there yet state. Send the email with the slightly awkward phrasing. Publish the first draft of the blog post. Make the sales call with an incomplete script. Launch the coming soon page for your business idea. You are to intentionally embrace the C-, the good enough. This will feel like jumping out of a plane. Your mind will scream in protest. It will tell you that you are committing professional suicide, that you are being lazy, that you will be judged harshly. This is the sound of the addiction fighting back. You must ignore it. You must act in spite of it. The purpose of this day is to shatter the illusion that perfection is attainable or even desirable. The truth is, perfection is the lowest standard of all because it is an impossible one. It guarantees failure. Action, on the other hand, even imperfect action, generates feedback. It creates momentum. It moves you forward. A flawed thing that exists in the world is infinitely more valuable than a perfect thing that exists only in your mind. Think of it like this. An archer who spends his entire life designing the perfect arrow will never hit a target. An archer who shoots 1,000 crooked, wobbly arrows will eventually learn how to shoot straight. He learns from the feedback of each imperfect shot. The wind, the weight, the release. Overthinking is the act of designing the perfect arrow forever. Today, you pick up a crooked stick and you shoot. You watch where it lands, and then you adjust. This principle is at the heart of all creation, all innovation, all growth. The first version of anything is always terrible. The first draft is a mess. The first prototype is clunky. The greatest artists, writers, and entrepreneurs in history were not people who got it right the first time. They were people who were willing to be wrong, to be messy, to be imperfect, and to iterate their way to excellence. They understood that done is better than perfect. On a practical level, how do you do this? Pick your poison. That report you've been rereading for a week. Skim it one last time for glaring errors and hit send. That difficult conversation you've been scripting in your head. Go have it, stammering and all. That creative project you've been hiding. Show it to one person. Just one. The goal is not to produce bad work. The goal is to detach your sense of self-worth from the outcome, to separate the action from the applause. You are training yourself to find the validation in the act of shipping itself, not in the reception it receives. The ancient Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi celebrates the beauty of imperfection, of the incomplete and the transient. It finds value in the cracked pot, the weathered stone. Today, you are applying wabi-sabi to your life. You are finding the courage and the beauty in your own cracked pots, your imperfect efforts. You are learning that growth is not a clean, linear process. It is a messy, iterative, and deeply human one. By embracing imperfection, you are not lowering your standards. You are raising them from the impossible standard of perfection to the achievable standard of progress. You are trading the fantasy of flawlessness for the reality of growth. This is an act of profound self-compassion. You are finally giving yourself permission to be a beginner, to be a learner, to be human. And in that permission, you will find a freedom that perfectionism could never offer. As day 3 closes, you will feel a strange mix of terror and relief. You put something flawed out into the world, and the world didn't end. The sky didn't fall. You weren't ostracized from society. You might have even gotten some valuable feedback, or maybe nothing happened at all. And that's a lesson in itself. You realize that the high-stakes drama you imagined was just that, a drama playing out in your own head. The world is far too busy to scrutinize your every move with the intensity that you do. This realization is liberating. You have faced the demon of judgment and found it to be a paper tiger. You have survived imperfection. You are now ready for the next level. You are ready for a lesson in speed. This brings us to day 4, the vow of decision. Overthinking is not just the act of thinking too much. It is the act of deliberating too long. It is the paralysis of choice. The modern world presents us with an infinite buffet of options for everything. What to watch, what to eat, what career path to take, who to date. The overthinker stands before this buffet, starving because they are trying to calculate the single best possible meal. They read every label, compare every ingredient, and by the time they've made a choice, the buffet is closed. The cost of this deliberation is immense. It drains your mental energy, creates anxiety, and most importantly, wastes your most precious resource, time. Your vow for day 4 is radical and simple. For the next 24 hours, you will make every reversible decision within 3 seconds. That's it, 3 seconds. From the moment a choice is presented to you, you have a 3-second window to make a call and move on. What to have for breakfast? 1, 2, 3, decide. Coffee or tea? 1, 2, 3, decide. Which task to start first? 1, 2, 3, decide. Should you go to the gym now or later? 1, 2, 3, decide. Notice I said reversible decisions. This isn't about impulsively quitting your job or getting a face tattoo. This applies to the 99% of daily decisions that have minimal long-term consequences, the very decisions that overthinkers agonize over the most. The goal here is not to make the perfect choice every time. The goal is to reclaim the hours of your life that you lose to pointless deliberation. The goal is to train your brain to be a decisive instrument, not a debating society. How does this work? It forces you to rely on a different kind of intelligence, not the slow, grinding, analytical intelligence of the prefrontal cortex, but the fast, intuitive, gut-level intelligence that resides deeper in your being. You don't have time to create a pro-con list. You don't have time to consult a committee. You have to tap into that instant feel. You have to trust yourself. At first, this will feel reckless. You will be certain you are making terrible choices. But a strange thing will happen. You will discover that your 3-second decisions are often just as good, if not better, than your 3-hour deliberations. Why? Because you are cutting through the noise. You are accessing your authentic preference before your anxiety has a chance to cloud the issue with 1,000 what-ifs. This practice is a form of mental martial arts. You are training your decisiveness muscle. Like any muscle, it gets stronger with use. The more small decisions you make quickly, the more confidence you build in your ability to make larger decisions when they arise. You are breaking the habit of second-guessing. Once a decision is made, it is made. You move forward. You do not look back. You do not ruminate. If the choice turns out to be suboptimal, you will course correct. You will adjust. That is what action is all about. It's a dance of decision and adjustment, not a one-time perfect choice. The Stoics had a concept called the art of acquiescence. It meant accepting the outcome of your choices and events outside your control with grace and without complaint. Day 4 is your training in this art. You make a quick decision and you acquiesce to the result. You ordered the salad when you wanted the burger. Fine. You eat the salad. You chose to work on Project A instead of Project B. Fine. You give Project A your full attention. You are learning to commit. To be in your life, not just spectating it. You are trading the illusion of a perfect outcome for the power of unwavering forward momentum. Consider the energy you will save. Think of all the mental RAM that is currently occupied by dozens of open, unresolved decision loops. What to wear tomorrow, which book to read next, whether to make that call. By closing these loops instantly, you free up that energy for what truly matters: execution. A decisive mind is a clear mind. A clear mind is a powerful mind. Today, you are not just making choices. You are forging a new neurological pathway. You are rewiring your brain to favor action over analysis, to trust itself, to move with speed and conviction. You are becoming a person who decides, who acts, and who lives without the heavy burden of regret. You are becoming a force of nature, propelled by your own internal clarity. The world does not yield to those who deliberate. It yields to those who decide. Today, you become one of them. You have now made it through 4 days. You've silenced the critic, grounded yourself in your body, embraced imperfection, and trained the muscle of decision. You are building a new operating system for your mind. But there is a deeper layer of resistance we must now confront. It is the core of all inaction, the source of all procrastination. It is the fear of discomfort. And so, we arrive at day 5, the vow of discomfort. Everything you want in life, growth, success, love, mastery, lies on the other side of a wall of discomfort. Overthinking is, at its core, an elaborate strategy to avoid having to climb that wall. You think about the difficult conversation instead of having it because thinking is comfortable and the actual conversation is not. You plan the workout instead of doing it because planning is easy and the physical strain is hard. You research the new skill instead of practicing it because research feels safe and the awkwardness of being a beginner is uncomfortable. Your addiction to thinking is an addiction to comfort, and comfort is the graveyard of potential. Your vow for day 5 is this: you must intentionally and deliberately seek out one act of discomfort. You must do the thing you have been actively avoiding because it feels awkward, scary, or difficult. This is not about being reckless or seeking physical harm. This is about emotional and psychological courage. It's about leaning into the friction of life. What does this look like? It's the phone call you've been dreading. Make it. It's the apology you know you need to give. Give it. It's the feedback you've been afraid to ask for. Ask for it. It's signing up for the public speaking class that makes your stomach churn. Sign up. It's going to a social event alone. Go. It's sitting with a difficult emotion, sadness, anger, boredom, without immediately trying to distract yourself with your phone or some other escape. Sit with it. The purpose of this day is to recalibrate your relationship with discomfort, to stop seeing it as a signal to retreat, and to start seeing it as a compass pointing you toward growth. Discomfort is the price of admission for a meaningful life. You cannot build a business without the discomfort of uncertainty and potential failure. You cannot build a deep relationship without the discomfort of vulnerability. You cannot build a strong body without the discomfort of physical strain. You cannot learn a new skill without the discomfort of incompetence. By actively seeking it out in a controlled way, you are building your tolerance for it. You are expanding your comfort zone, not by staying within it, but by deliberately stepping out of it, again and again. This is the essence of Stoic practice. The Stoics would deliberately practice poverty by eating simple food and sleeping on the floor. They would practice losing loved ones by meditating on their mortality. They did this not to be morbid, but to inoculate themselves against misfortune, to toughen their minds. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. By voluntarily touching the spike, they learned that it would not kill them. They learned that they were more resilient than they thought. Day 5 is your premeditatio malorum. You are voluntarily touching the spike of social anxiety, of potential rejection, of difficult emotions, and you will discover your own resilience. When you make that dreaded phone call, you will realize that the anticipation was 1,000 times worse than the reality. Even if it goes poorly, you will survive. You will have a new data point. You will have the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you were able to face your fear and act anyway. This knowledge is worth more than 1,000 books on confidence. It is earned confidence. It is real. Every time you choose discomfort over comfort, you cast a vote for a new identity. A vote for the person who is not afraid of challenges. A vote for the person who sees obstacles as opportunities. A vote for the warrior, the creator, the adventurer. You are systematically desensitizing yourself to fear. You are teaching your nervous system, on a cellular level, that uncomfortable does not mean unsafe. It simply means growing. By the end of day 5, the world will start to look different. The things that once seemed like impassable mountains will begin to look like manageable hills. The fear that once paralyzed you will start to feel like a familiar hum in the background, a signal that you are on the right track. You will have a newfound respect for your own strength. You have not been avoiding difficult things because you are weak. You have been feeling weak because you are avoiding difficult things. Today, you reverse that equation. You prove to yourself through action that you have the strength to handle whatever life throws at you. You are no longer a refugee from discomfort. You are a seeker of it, and that changes everything. We are nearing the culmination of this vow. You've cleared the ground, laid the foundation, and built the scaffolding. Now it's time to create. So much of overthinking is a passive, consumptive process. You consume information, you consume possibilities, you consume the opinions of others. You are a spectator in your own life. The ultimate antidote to this passivity is creation. This brings us to day 6, the vow of creation. To consume is to be a ghost. To create is to be a god, even on the smallest scale. Creation is the act of bringing something into the world that did not exist before. It is the purest form of action. It is the ultimate refutation of the overthinker's paralysis. A creator cannot remain lost in thought. A creator must engage with the messy, tangible reality of their chosen medium. Whether that medium is words, paint, code, wood, music, or a business plan, creation forces you out of your head and into the world. Your vow for day 6 is this: you must create something, anything, and you must complete the creative cycle. This means you must start it, work on it, and finish it, or at least finish a single, self-contained version of it within the 24-hour period. The scale does not matter. The quality does not matter. The act of creation itself is the victory. What could this be? Write a one-page short story. Cook a new recipe from scratch without obsessively following the instructions. Build a simple birdhouse. Compose a short piece of music, even if it's just a melody on a cheap keyboard. Outline a solution to a problem at work. Design a logo for your imaginary company. Draw a picture. The key is that you must produce a tangible artifact, something you can point to and say, "I made this today." This is a profound shift in identity. You are moving from being a thinker to being a maker. A thinker lives in the realm of the potential. A maker lives in the realm of the actual. A thinker has ideas. A maker has projects. As you engage in the creative process, you will find that it is the ultimate integration of all the previous day's vows. You will have to silence your inner critic, day 1, who tells you your creation is garbage. You will have to engage your body, day 2, as you physically work with your materials. You will have to embrace imperfection, day 3, because your first version will never be flawless. You will have to make hundreds of small, quick decisions, day 4, about color or words or structure. And you will have to push through the discomfort, day 5, of not knowing what you're doing, of facing the blank page or the empty canvas. Creation is the battlefield where all these skills are tested and forged. It is the ultimate expression of your power to affect reality. The overthinker feels powerless because their mental gymnastics have no impact on the world outside their skull. The creator feels a deep sense of agency because they see the direct result of their efforts made manifest before their eyes. They turn thought into thing. This is the oldest magic in the world. Do not wait for inspiration. Inspiration is a myth that overthinkers use as another excuse for inaction. Inspiration does not precede action. It is the child of action. Start moving the pen. Start shaping the clay. Start writing the code. The act of doing will generate the ideas. The work itself will teach you how to do the work. This is a secret that all prolific creators know. They don't have more ideas than you do. They simply start more often. At the end of day 6, hold your creation in your hands. Look at it. It might be crude. It might be simple. It might be flawed. But it is real. It is a monument to your own agency. It is proof that you are not just a passive processor of reality, but an active shaper of it. You have tasted the profound satisfaction that comes not from thinking about doing something, but from having done it. This feeling is addictive in the best possible way. It is the feeling of being alive, of being effective, of being a cause rather than just an effect. This feeling is the fuel that will propel you forward long after this week is over. You have remembered a fundamental truth about yourself. You are a builder. You are a maker. You are a creator. And now we have arrived at the final day. Day 7, the vow of identity. This entire week has not just been about changing your habits. It has been about dismantling an old identity and forging a new one. The identity of the overthinker is a sticky one. It can even feel like a badge of honor. I'm just a deep thinker. I'm an analytical person. I can't help it, I just overthink things. We cling to these labels because they give us a sense of self, a story to tell ourselves about why we are the way we are. But this story is a prison sentence. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. As long as you identify as an overthinker, you will continue to find evidence to support that identity. You will continue to act in accordance with that script. Today is the day you burn the script. Your vow for day 7 is to consciously and deliberately claim your new identity. This is not a passive hope, it is an active declaration. You will spend time today writing or speaking aloud who you are now. You are not trying to stop overthinking. You are not an overthinker in recovery. You are something else entirely. You are a person of action. You are a decider. You are a creator. You are a warrior of the mind who has conquered the paralysis of analysis. Find the words that resonate with you. Maybe it's a simple declaration. I am a decisive person. I act with clarity and conviction. Maybe it's a more evocative metaphor. My mind is a sharp tool that I wield with purpose, not a cage that imprisons me. I am the eye of the storm, calm and centered, while the world of possibilities swirls around me. The specific words are less important than the act of claiming them. You are consciously choosing your own label. You are writing your own character description. This is more than just positive affirmations. An affirmation without evidence is a lie, but you are not lying. You have 6 days of hard-won evidence to back up your claim. You have the memory of silencing your critic. You have the muscle fatigue from your physical exertion. You have the proof of your imperfectly shipped project. You have the feeling of rapid-fire decision-making. You have the quiet pride of facing your discomfort. You have the tangible creation you made with your own hands. Your new identity is not a fantasy. It is a conclusion based on data. You are simply acknowledging the truth of who you have become. To solidify this, you must also perform a symbolic act of release. Write down on a piece of paper all the labels and excuses associated with your old identity. The overthinker, the analyst, the perfectionist, the procrastinator. Write down the fears that fueled that identity: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong choice. Write it all down. Then safely and ceremoniously destroy it. Burn it. Tear it into 1,000 tiny pieces. Flush it away. This is not just melodrama. It is a ritual. Humans are ritualistic creatures. A ritual gives a physical form to a psychological transformation. It signals to the deepest parts of your subconscious that a profound and irreversible change has occurred. The old self is gone. It has been honored for the protection it tried to offer, but its services are no longer required. The final part of day 7 is to plan your first action as this new person. What will you, the person of action, do tomorrow? What will you, the creator, begin? What will you, the decider, choose? This is not a return to the old ways of massive, overwhelming plans. It is one small, concrete step that you will take to continue the momentum. This is how you make the change last. You don't just hope to be different. You continue to act differently. You continue to gather evidence for your new identity, day after day, until it is no longer a conscious choice but an unconscious, automatic way of being. Your new identity becomes your nature. This 7-day vow was never about finding a magic bullet. It was about starting a fire. It was about proving to yourself in the most visceral and undeniable way that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who acts in spite of them. You are not the prisoner. You are the one who holds the key. The escape was never about finding the right door. It was about realizing you could walk through the walls. Let's take a moment and look back at the journey we've just mapped out. We started in the familiar, suffocating room of the overthinker's mind. We acknowledged the pain, the paralysis, the exhaustion of a mind at war with itself. We made a promise, not a gentle tweak, but a radical escape, a 7-day vow of brutal action. We began by creating a space of silence, detaching from the tyranny of the inner critic and the endless hunger for validation. From there, we grounded ourselves in the undeniable truth of the physical body, using exertion to short-circuit the loops of anxiety. We then declared war on the beautiful, gilded cage of perfectionism, learning the liberating power of shipping the imperfect thing. We retrained our minds for speed and conviction, embracing the 3-second rule to become masters of decision. We stepped willingly into the fire of discomfort, realizing it was not a threat but a compass pointing toward our own growth. We shifted from being passive consumers of life to active creators, leaving a tangible mark on the world. And finally, we stood on this mountain of evidence and consciously claimed a new, powerful identity, burning the script of our old self. Each day built upon the last, systematically dismantling the architecture of fear and inaction, and replacing it with a foundation of courage and momentum. This wasn't a collection of tips. It was a rite of passage, a deliberate process to forge a new you. But what happens now? What happens on day 8? When was the last time you truly felt in command of your own life? Not just managing it, not just coping with it, but truly commanding it, with the direction, the power, and the clarity of a ship's captain in a storm. This 7-day vow is designed to give you that feeling back, perhaps for the first time. But a feeling is fleeting. A system, an identity, is what lasts. Day 8 and every day that follows is about living the vows not as a temporary challenge, but as a permanent code. It becomes your new normal to observe your thoughts without judgment. It becomes instinct to use physical activity to clear your mind. It becomes your standard operating procedure to choose done over perfect. Decisions become swift and clean. Discomfort becomes an invitation, not a barrier. Creation becomes a regular practice, not a rare event. And your identity as a person of action becomes the very core of who you are. This transformation isn't about becoming a reckless, unthinking machine. It's about restoring the proper balance. It's about using your brilliant analytical mind as the powerful tool it was meant to be, to serve your actions, not to sabotage them. To analyze the results of your imperfect attempts so you can improve the next one. To strategize your next creative project. To plan your next brave step into discomfort. The mind becomes the co-pilot, the strategist, the trusted advisor to the CEO, which is you, the decider, the actor. The battle you've been fighting is not against the world. It has always been a battle against a ghost in your own machine, a pattern of thought that you mistook for your true self. This week is your exorcism. It is your reclamation. The world hasn't changed. The choices and uncertainties are still there, but you have changed. You are no longer the frightened tourist, staring at the map, afraid to take a step. You are the explorer with a compass in your hand and the courage to navigate the territory as it comes. You have traded the false safety of the harbor for the magnificent, terrifying, and ultimately glorious adventure of the open sea. The person who started this journey, the one trapped in the endless loops of what if, is no longer here. In their place is someone new, someone quieter on the inside but louder in their actions, someone who is less concerned with being right and more concerned with moving forward, someone who understands that the only way to truly know anything is to do it. You have escaped the labyrinth of your mind not by finding a secret exit, but by realizing you were the one building the walls all along. And you are the one who can tear them down, one decisive, imperfect, courageous action at a time. The journey doesn't end here. This is the beginning. This is your day one of a new life. A life where your potential is not a source of anxiety but a call to action. A life where your intelligence is not a burden but a weapon. A life where you are not the thinker but the doer, the architect and the builder, the strategist and the warrior. Now I leave you with a question to carry forward, a question to ask yourself every morning when you wake up. Not what should I think about today, but what brutal action will I take today to honor the person I have decided to become? Your future is not a problem to be solved. It is an adventure to be lived. Go live it.